Hello and welcome everyone. Hope you are doing great. Today we're going to talk about several points and tricks regarding designing a plan. As for our first point, let's say we got this plan and we have worked on its structural flooring. Now what we need to do would be working on architectural floors for all of the zones that we got. Now we got a couple of ways or techniques, if you will, for achieving this goal. Now, as I said, guys, we already got the structural flooring. What we need to do now, the next step would be specifying the utilized material in each zone. Now, talking about the first technique, guys, we need to set the floors for each zone separately. As an example, I'm going to select this floor with a, let's say, wooden material for example, this zone here. So I'm simply going to set this rectangular floor here and hit finish. Let me throw in some colors to make this more visible. Now, take a look at this, guys. We didn't apply any locks, right? Yet still, if we try moving this wall, for example, the floor wouldn't move with it. Well, guys, to put this simply, this is an ability or a feature that we can work with during the sketching process for floors, and we can simply use it if we wanted to. And for working, when it comes to working on larger areas or more complex ones, we can use pick wall. Both pick wall and pick line. Let me test pick wall here real quick, guys. As you can see, I simply just need to click on the walls instead of just drawing everything and sketching everything separately. And this is way faster, obviously. You know what, guys, to put this in other words, I'm using pick wall here to specify the boundaries or set all the exterior areas, and then after I'm done, I can get rid of the extra parts. And also, guys, for some of the areas, we might just have to do some manual sketching. For example, for this zone here. Yeah, so guys, these would be some extra and quite necessary modifications that I'm sure you're already familiar with. And after we hit finish, we can always join everything up. So, yes. Anyway, guys, so this would be a simple technique that we can go with for setting the required architectural floors for different zones, or actually for all of the zones within a plan. Alright, guys, we're pretty much done with the first technique here. Let me just throw in another material real quick. And remember, guys, this is a simple technique, but it's a little bit time consuming. Now, we are able to use some other plugins such as Dynamo-related plugins, but if you don't have a lot of zones, if you don't have to deal with a lot of areas, just sketch the floors. Alright, guys, now let's talk about the second technique. Within the second method, guys, we would be able to specify layers for the structural floors that we already got, okay? As an example, I'm going to go ahead and add this layer here, guys. Set this layer here. And as for its thickness, I'm going to go with 5 cm. Now, I'm sure you already know this, guys, but here it goes anyway. When we add a layer here, it would be added to the entire plan, right? So if this is the case, how can we separate the materials then? Well, for doing that, we can use part. Basically, guys, when we want to apply divisions on floors, on roofs, walls, or any other element for any reason, actually, like, for example, for controlling the thickness or the material, or even removing some parts of them, as I said, the reason could be anything. Yeah, basically, in such cases, we got this item up here that we can work with called part. Now, there are some points that we need to consider when it comes to working with this item. For example, when we convert an element into a part, we need to make sure that it is enabled in the VG tab. Otherwise, during the work, that converted element won't be displayed. You can say it would be hidden, okay? Now, other than this, when we enter the Properties tab, guys, we would find this item called Parts Visibility. We need to make sure that this item is set on Show Parts. Obviously, when we are using parts, okay? And, guys, regarding the other options that we have here, well, we're going to circle back to these later on. Anyway, guys, I'm going to select the floor here and then click on Parts. Immediately, I'll see Divide Part. Let's click on it. Now guys, take a look at this. Instead of sketching the floors for all the zones separately, I'm going to click on edit sketch, and then I'm simply going to try to set these rectangular sketches, guys. And I'm focusing on simple zones. Now, as I mentioned before, guys, for more complex areas, you need to work on the boundaries first. And for doing that, you can use, for example, pick line. All right, so basically, guys, set all the sketches that you need and then finish everything simultaneously. All right, let's check the result now. What's interesting is that we would get the same floor. Let me enter 3D. We would be able to check the whole thing better. We would get the same floor, but everything is completely separate. So basically, guys, it's kind of like we used the same floor, the same material for several zones separately, but we actually did it at the same time. Now back to this item. If we go with show parts, we would be able to see all the parts. However, if we go with show original, for example, we won't be able to see the converted parts anymore, guys. I mean, we would only be able to see the entire floor as a completely one component shape. And, well, who knows, this could be quite useful sometimes. All right, we're not done here, though. Like, for one thing, we still need to apply some modifications on the materials. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to select the converted parts, and in the properties tab, you would see that material by original is enabled, meaning currently the main floor's material is being displayed. So obviously, guys, by disabling this option or item, we would be able to specify or select a separate and new material for this converted part. As an example, some sort of a wooden material, let's say. All right, now let's do the same for this part. Again, deactivate or disable the option, and then select another material. And yeah, guys, basically that would be all regarding the second technique. Let's move on to the third method now. Guys, sometimes while working on a plan, we might have to deal with zones with fixed up dimensions, okay? As an example, let's say we got this aisle here, and its width, for example, should be completely fixed up. Well, I mean, like in case we ever tried moving one of these walls here, we should make sure that the width here, the width of this aisle, won't be changing at all. Well, honestly, guys, this whole thing is actually quite simple. We just need to set some dimensions and then lock them down. As for another example, we got some sort of a depth here, guys, and we should make sure that this depth won't be changing under any circumstances, right? So what I'm going to do, as I said, would be using a dimension tab. Let's check the value, 610. It should remain the same all the time. Also, what we have on this side, 651. Okay, so let's lock these down. Now, take a look at this, guys. If I try moving the walls around these, as you can see, they won't change. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you ever wanted or, well, actually needed to find out where exactly you have these lockup or fixed up dimensions, down here you can click on Reveal Constraints. So yeah, via a single click, you would easily be able to be informed about all of these specific dimensions. Alright guys, next up we can talk about some graphical settings and modifications that we would usually apply on plans. As you know, guys, for example, for walls, we would be able to specify different materials. Currently, we got default. Let's see what else I can go with. For example, give me a brick material with, for example, with this color. Okay, so yeah, guys, sure, we successfully applied the material. However, let's say within a graphical presentation, we want the walls to be displayed with a solid black color. Now, remember, we don't want the materials to be removed though. I mean, in that case, the schedules would actually be ruined. So we're just talking about some simple extra graphical settings, not changing the essence of anything, guys. And it's quite simple. Now, to be more precise, guys, what I'm talking about here would be controlling the detail level. Take a look at this. If I open up type properties, here I would be able to specify what exactly I want to see while the detail level is set on coarse, for example. So as I said earlier, guys, what I want to see or display when I have this coarse scale detail level would be a solid black fill pattern. Now, back to the viewport, guys. If I set the detail level on fine, well, basically just the original material would be displayed. But if I change the detail level to coarse, guys, I'll get that solid black color that I needed. Now, one issue that we might face, that we might have to deal with when we do this, is the fact that some of the details within the, for example, windows or even the furniture might be removed or not displayed. And, well, we don't want this. Now, the solution to this problem or issue is quite simple. Just apply all the required modifications and settings, then open up VG, and in here you can specify that you only want the coarse detail level to be applied on walls. Now take a look at this. The detail level for the entire view is fine, except for walls, guys. They are being displayed with a coarse detail level. Now, as for another complementary point, guys, sometimes we might set or select a specific pattern for a particular material. For example, let's see what we got here. Model. So I want to have this pattern. By the way, guys, remember, when we're trying to select a pattern for the surface of a material, as for its type, we should definitely go with model. And, well, I'm going to tell you why in a bit. But you know what, let's just talk about it right now. Guys, when we do this, basically, when we go with a model surface pattern, we would be able to modify it, select it, and modify it. Like, for example, move it, rotate it, align it, and so on. Let me try to give you an example on this. As you can see, guys, we got this pattern for this material, and I want the pattern to be started right from this corner here. Well, this whole thing is quite simple. I just need to use a line and try aligning this wall here with this pattern line. And I can do the same on this side, multiple. And then maybe we can even move up these walls a bit in order to get an even better alignment. Now, another modification that I just mentioned, guys, was rotating. So, yeah, let's just do that as well. Just need to press tab once, select the pattern lines, and then, for example, rotate them by, let's say, 45 degrees. And by the way, guys, the modification would only be applied in this zone, not others. You know what, let me try to elaborate on this. I'm going to go ahead and set the same material in this zone as well. And as you can see, it is acting completely separately as before. So basically, guys, such modifications won't really affect the different zones that we have in our plan. All right, guys. Now, as for another point, which I guess it would actually be the last point of the session, guys, not all the time we would be dealing with typical levels and floors. Let me try to give you an example. Activating underlay. All right, take a look at this, guys. In the above level, we got this protrusion. A protrusion that we don't really have in the previous level, guys. And yeah, sure, we don't have it. We don't have it on the previous level, but it doesn't mean that we can't see it either. We would be able to set the underlay on the above level, and this way, we would be able to see its lines. Now, usually, we need to display the patterns of a protrusion in another level as well. And there's a technique for that. Let's talk about it. First, we can begin with selecting a line, and then set it, for example, right over here. Well, this would be one way for doing this, but there's an issue with it. Well, the problem with this is the fact that if you go ahead and change something in the above level, the previous level won't really act accordingly. Yeah, this would be a technique that we can use, but I don't really recommend it. So, in fact, let's talk about an alternative one, a better one. There's an item, guys, that we can use called line work. You can find it up here in the Modify tab, then in the View panel. So yeah, just select the item, line work, then overhead. Now, first we need to select a base element. It could be, for example, a wall, a floor, a wall's finishing layer, or any other thing. Anyway, so I'm just going to select this, and we can even adjust this further afterwards. See, I can just easily select this and move it around. Just going to set this here. All right, now if I turn off the underlay, guys, not only the lines would remain visible, but also if we change something in the walls, for example, in the above level, the previous level would act accordingly. All right, guys, that will be all. Hopefully you found all the discussed points beneficial for your own works and projects. Now, if you need more complete points and information regarding Revit, you can check the link in the description for accessing my Revit tutorial. See you all next time. Goodbye and good luck.